In times of 4K 120 FPS high-fidelity gaming, in which sweat and body hair texture resolution have become apparently more important, many strive to have the best hardware for gaming at home, especially since the reveal of the RTX 50 series. People want 128 gigs of RAM with fancy RGB and cooling and all that cool stuff just to go back and play. No, but in all seriousness, I have noticed a serious decline in consumers not going for the highest performance or the best graphics, and it seems like people are starting to look more for simplicity, comfort, and just overall fun. And honestly, I'm starting to notice it on myself as well. So I was always a huge console guy myself. I started with the OG PS1 and a copy of Tekken 2, jumped to PS2 and DS before switching over to Xbox 360, which I gotta admit still was the best console at its time and would always have a special place in my heart. Best marketplace, best console, best online, everything. Just to jump back to the Wii and the PS3, and then to PS4, then to PC, and then to PS5, and now I only see myself playing on the Switch. Now you might ask, what happened there? Did you become lazy? Do the handheld shackles hold over me? Well, yeah, but kinda no. Just let me explain. Portable gaming has always been seen as this inferior, on-the-go compromise to the stationary big screen and cardboard box ever since, the Game Boy, the Game Gear, and the Neo Geo Pocket, if anybody remembers that. Anyways, as time went on, these handhelds have become so good with each generation that they compare to the stationary home console. I mean, look at the PSP for example. It was a legit PS2 portable. It had an upgraded version of Tekken 5, it had 2 God of War spin-off games that looked like the first 2 games on PS2, it had a full-fledged Kingdom Hearts game that was on par with PS2 graphics, if not better. And that's just to count a few. Then also we've got the Game Boy Advance, which is a monster when it comes to 2D stylized, pixelized sprite games. I mean, just look at Sonic Advance 1, 2, 3, look at Pokemon, look at Mother 3. Amazing games. And obviously, how could I forget the DS and 3DS with such a huge library of games and overall high quality fun franchises to just fall in love with. And the best of it all is that it's all at the palm of your own hands. You can play it in your bed, in your toilet, outside, in class, on a train. You can play anywhere and it would be totally fine. It is designed for you to play anywhere and everywhere, which is awesome to just say the least. And of course, it was always a compromise. You never really had the full-on console experience, right? Like, you never had the fully fledged experience, this home stationary experience, but on the go. It was always like a compromised experience. But then the Switch came. I mean, sure, there was always like ports of home console counterparts and whatever, but Nintendo really changed history when they announced the Switch. The concept of having a hybrid at-home console and handheld is a godsend idea that would inspire the whole industry to jump on board as well. I mean, even now that the Switch is coming to an end, its lifespan is coming to an end, Switch 2 leaks are, popping up more and more. This console had undeniably the biggest impact in console history over the last decade. It made playing games with friends and family accessible again. It had many new and well-optimized games, a lot of third-party support, sometimes too much for its own good, and lots of amazing ports. The idea of having a device that plays the newest Smash Bros. Game, while at the same time being able to switch over to Persona 4 or even Persona 5, go back and play Arkham City, switch back to Mario Kart and finish it off with Sonic Generations or Final Fantasy X in my own bed? Like, that's a dream right there. And sure, the console's not really strong at all. It uses Android tablet architecture that was used to make a weird handheld that played Half-Life 2 and Portal. But still, they capitalized. They did what they could do best. They did not join the rat race. Nintendo, Big N, they did not join the rat race. They didn't try to compete with Sony or Microsoft in hopes of getting money through live services and software. which is also lacking. Accessories, but what they sold was innovation, the idea, and the simplicity of it all, and just not having to think about how to play your game, but just playing your game is magnificent, just to say the least. I mean, even if you look at the economy, you can see that the Switch has become the top 3 most sold console in some places, even top 2 or top 1 most sold console of all time. Like, this thing is breaking records all the time. And this is exactly what people want. They just want to buy games and play them. They just want stuff to work, and people don't really care anymore about fancy graphics that tell a bland story with some real world elements. You, man. Nobody cares just because it's the newest engine and there's new particle effects or Lumen or whatever the the new technologies are all called. Also, that probably is the reason why the Steam Deck, even though I really want to get it for myself, will never sell the same as the Switch. I mean, the Steam Deck, while an awesome choice for people that want to play their PC games or just AAA games in general, have some tinkering to do with many games, which can be quite consumer unfriendly unless you came from PC, because then you'll obviously be kind of used to like tinkering around in the settings and seeing how the game runs. And also, if you ask your grandma who Mario is, she'll know. But when it comes to Gordon Freeman, she'd probably think of Norman Freeman. So yeah, let's go back to the Switch. Look at Breath of the Wild. This game runs at 900p 30fps max, and yet this game is praised for its visuals. Look at Mario Odyssey, Smash Ultimate, all those games. They are not pushing graphics forward. They don't have DLSS AI generated frames and pixels, or show Mario's hair or whatever the no, it's just about stylized fun games that sell the idea and concept of mechanics, fun, you know, just playing an actual game, not watching a movie and pressing some buttons and then you're like, oh wow, that game was nice, I'm never gonna touch that game again. No, these games were made for replayability so that you go back and play those games because they're fun, because the story, the cinematic movie story, is not what sells the game. If your game is solely about selling a story, then you can just make a book, a movie, or even have your audience watch YouTube videos, and that would be it. Your whole game gone. Doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, people, they just want to play. They want to interact, but still play, because a game, at the end of the day, is just that. A game. People want to play their games whenever they want, however they want. There's just not much reasons to stick around with home consoles or even a PC when it comes to games, except for if you really care about like frame rate and resolution. But even then, if you think you care about a lot of these like parameters, I don't think you actually do. See, a lot of people are always like, oh, what? 30 FPS? No, this is unplayable. I have never played a game on 30 FPS. Yes, you have, and a lot of people praise the games. I mean, of course, 60 FPS will always be better than 30. I am never gonna lie and say that 60 FPS is in some way inferior to 30. That just doesn't make sense. What I'm trying to say though is that 30 FPS is okay and it's fine, and we've all played games that were 30 FPS and still enjoyed them. Look at God of War 2018. When that came out, it was exclusively for the PS4, and it ran at 1080p 30 FPS. It was still Game of the Year. Everyone loved the game, played through it, had their fair share of fun, and that game was 30 FPS, and it ran on base PS4, and it was a base PS4 game, and it was designed around those 30 FPS, which is good. Or even Spider-Man PS4, or FF7 Remake, all these base PS4 games that turn out to be like super huge, right? They're all at 30 FPS. I mean, sure, they're at 1080p resolution, but they're still 30 FPS. Anyways, we're at a point in gaming where we already somewhat peaked when it comes to graphics, and there's just not much to push here anymore. And we focused so much on graphics and little visual details that we forgot the simple fact that games are games. We play. We do not watch movies. We do not watch, we play. Also, another reason for the decline of stationary home consoles is the lack of exclusives. I mean, look, I'm a PS5 user and I played like all the exclusives when they were exclusives. That includes, haha, get it, FF16, FF7 Rebirth, Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, a lot of these games. And I really like playing these games, especially the Final Fantasy ones. I mean, Final Fantasy 16, loved it. One of my favorite mainline Final Fantasy games of all time. FF7 Rebirth, awesome game. I really enjoyed my time. It took me like 30 hours to get through the story, and I have like 120 hours into this game just because I'm leveling up and doing side quests and just having fun exploring the world, and it's just so much fun. But these games, they're all on PC now. I mean, exclusives did offer more competition and make console purchases even more worthwhile, but it has become clear that the overall mass of consumers doesn't want to spend thousands of dollars, euros, pesos, or even apple pies just to play the games that they like, just because their games are spread between so much hardware. If you want to go and play Starfield, for example, why ever you want to play that game, if you want to play Starfield, you need an Xbox or a PC. And if you want to play Spider-Man 2, you need a PS5 or a PC. Well, guess what? Just get a PC and you'll play both. But the thing is, a lot of people also don't like to play on PC. Myself included. I have had a gaming PC for the last 4 years or so, and the idea of playing games on my desk, it just doesn't appeal to me because it makes playing games feel like a chore instead of something fun to do, because I just like to have fun while playing games. And this goes for most people. People just don't want to feel like they do a chore when they play games. They want to play games because they want to be relieved. They want to have fun. And PC gaming is just very tedious. I mean, sure, it's nice because you can, play your favorite games at like 1,000,000 FPS and, the resolution's off the board and whatever. But people just don't care about that stuff. I mean, sure, there's a lot of enthusiasts, trying to get, Doom 2016 to run at like 1,000 FPS with like 8K resolution or whatever, and that's cool. I'm not saying that this is not cool, but I'm just saying most people do not care about this stuff. Most people are fine if they get a game that is like 720, 900p, 1080p. Most people are fine with 1080p, like completely normal 1080p, either 30 FPS or 60 FPS, they don't mind, and they just want to play a game. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and were able to learn a thing or two. I am curious about what you guys say, console, PCs, or handhelds. What do you guys think will be the future of gaming, and how do you enjoy your games the most? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, I'd be very grateful if you'd subscribe and give a like, as I'm planning on doing more content and expanding. If there's something specific you'd love for me to talk about, tell me. I'll try to do my best. As for now, I'm planning on doing either a video on Capcom's epic comeback or Platinum Games' downfall, but I might not even do them. We'll see how time flows. But for now, goodbye and take care.